Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello and welcome. I miss you so much, and today I hope that we're gonna cover a number of pages and a number of chapters on argument. First of all, I'm so happy to be with you, and we wish, inshallah, we're gonna come back to our lectures, to our classes, to our universities as soon as possible, inshallah. Okay. We in our life, when we talk in order to fulfill some communicative purposes. We talk in order to convey messages. We talk in order to give orders to people to do something. We talk to ask questions. We talk to convince people, to persuade people, and so on. So these are the different kinds of functions language has to do in our life. One of these functions is to persuade. We use language in order to persuade. Why do we want to persuade people? Simply because we cannot live alone without sharing ideas with people and asking people to side by us and to adopt the same point of view, because this gives us some sort of warmness and some sort of solidarity, and we feel that we are not alone, and this is very comfortable feeling for us as human beings. Okay, so we keep arguing all the time. We keep making arguments without feeling that we are making arguments. When you ask for example, when you ask your mom, mommy, I wanna go with my friend for a party, and she said, no, you don't have to go, and so on. And you say, mommy, this is a very important party. I love it. I want to be with my colleagues. I want to go out, stay outside for some time, to join my colleagues and friends, to have fun, and so on. So all these are reasons that you give in order to convince mom to allow you to go to the party. And you can think of so many things like that, which we do consciously and unconsciously under the name of argument. Okay, so what's an argument? I have, my way of teaching. I like face-to-face interaction, and I like casual things and so on. But here we have our book. Okay. Next to us, please bring it now, because I'm gonna share with you some pages and some parts of the book. And I have prepared some titles which can help me manage this meeting and this lecture, because this is the first time for me to go live and to have something like that. So if there are some problems, please forgive me for that. Okay, first we have argument. You can see it here. First, what's an argument? What's an argument? An argument is a chain of claims and reasons. Okay, a chain of claims and reasons. What is a claim? We're going to see, and what are reasons? We're going to see, and so on. In an argument, we have a claim, which is a point of view, an opinion, a conclusion, a position, a stance, a conviction, a belief, and so on. And we want to share it with people to feel the same and to think the same, just like me. So I have to provide some reasons for people in order to believe in what I say. So the first two components of an argument is claim and grounds or reasons. Why? What do you want me as a hearer to believe in, and why do you want me to believe in it? What are the reasons? What are the facts? What are the grounds? And you will find this discussed in detail in the first chapter, and particularly on pages 3 and 4. So go through these 2 pages and you'll find very interesting things. Of course, you'll find so many details, and so don't worry. Don't worry, just read very comfortably and interact with the text, because I'm gonna flash it out for you and make it so easy for you, so don't worry at all. This is number 1, okay? And then we have to differentiate between 2 kinds of uses of language. Number 1, instrumental, and number 2, argumentative. If you say that, please, could you tell me the way to Cairo? Or how can I get to the airport? These are questions, requests, orders, warnings, and so on, and all these things. You don't have to provide reason for that. They are this way. They are instrumental. We use them to make some use in our life. The second is argumentative, where we use it to debate some topics, to convince people, to persuade people, and so on. So these are the 2 main points. Where can we exercise argumentation? Where can we exercise argumentation? Of course, there are, official and formal parts or formal places. For example, law courts, where we have lawyers making cases in front of juries and so on. Also, we have argumentation in seminars, where researchers are providing their proposals and receiving feedback from their co-researchers and so on. Also, we can find argumentation in official meetings and hearings, and so on. So this is how can we find argumentation? Also, we have to say that argumentation is everywhere, and we exercise it daily in our life. It's not only there in courtrooms or in academic circles or in parliaments or official meeting. No, it's there everywhere, officially, formally, informally, and so on. So this is what we want to say about chapter 1. And I want you to open the exercise of chapter 1, please, because I just want to refer to some points, and I leave you to work out the rest of elements. The exercises are on page 18 and 19, also on page 20. Here they are giving us some extracts, some texts, and they ask us to tell whether these extracts are arguments or just something instrumental. And you will find that, for example, if you look at number 2, talking about the new Chevrolet, someone is convincing people, and this is, by the way, seems to me this is an advertisement, convincing people to buy Chevrolet and giving reasons for that, talking about its features, its functions, the capacity of its cylinder, and the quality of its engine, and all these things. For all these reasons, advertiser wants to say that for all these reasons I recommend this car for you. This is the best car, and so the second extract is really, and you can say it's to the letter, or literally an argumentative extract. If you look at the number 3, you'll find a conversation between Joshua and Nansen, okay, and they are talking about questions and answers, dialogue, very short dialogue, short sentences, and so on. This is instrumental discourse, it's instrumental text, it's not argumentative. If you look at number 4, you will find a narrative text. People are narrating a story, and it's not argumentative, and so on. So these are, please come through the rest of the examples, and let's move to chapter 2. In chapter 2, we have to go directly to the parts involved in argument. Who are the people who are involved in or partners or who have roles in argument? The first one is asserter. The first one is asserter, asserter or claimant, the one who makes claims and the one who wants us to believe in what to believe. And then the second is the questioner or interrogator, someone who is criticizing this point of view, is providing counterpoints of view, or someone who is questioning this claim and saying or asking for reasons. For example, if someone says, I think that John is the best footballer in Germany, for example. Someone who says, what? How did you say that? And why did you say that? And why do you believe in that? So this one who is asking this question, we call him a questioner, interrogator, because he wants to make sure that the claim is sound and the claimant or the asserter is really able to provide reasons. Just throwing claim in front of us and leaving us to find reasons to support this claim or grounds to support this claim. We have something called burden of proof, which is called in Arabic على المدعي إن هو يعني يثبت ادعائه. So anyone who is giving any claim or making a claim must be responsible for convincing people of this claim. Okay, let's go to the key part of our lecture, which is elements of argument. Elements. What are the key elements? I want you to pay attention to these things. You'll find them fully discussed in chapter 2. But let me summarize things for you. Elements of arguments. Elements of arguments. Elements of argument. Okay. The first element is claim. The first element is claim. As we said before, a claim is a point of view, a conclusion, an assertion, something which is debatable. If you say that the sun rises from the east, this is not a claim because this is a fact. But when you say that Mona is the best candidate for the job, for example, this is not a fact. This is a claim, and you have to support that in order to make us believe the same. Okay, so the first element is claims. This is the basic part of an argument. The second is grounds or reasons or grounds. And you can make grounds or give grounds, or grounds can take different form. They can be personal testimony, something you personally have experienced, and out of your experience you talk about it. It could be facts, it could be observations, something you observe. It could be common knowledge, things which we all share, things which are taken for granted. And it also grounds could take the form of statistics. You refer to statistics coming from official bodies, official governmental bodies, making statistics available to the public, and we get these statistics to support our point of view. Also, we can make use of experts. We can consult experts. If you are talking about a particular disease and you want to back your point of view of something, you ask an expert in the disease, a physician, a doctor, a researcher who has done a great deal in the field and who is capable of giving us a final say on this. We believe in all of this. We believe in facts. We believe in experts. We believe in statistics because they always say that numbers, numbers say for themselves. When we give numbers, this is something that assures people and make them really believe that there is something sound, something rational, something solid, something sufficient, and we have to think of it and believe in it and support it and uphold it and so on. Okay. Number three is warrants. Yeah, warrants. And the question is here, how? I forgot to tell you that when you ask, when you make a claim, you answer a question of what, and when we provide grounds, you answer the question of why. Why do you want me to believe that this way? And warrant, okay, or reasoning. There are other terms. Reasoning. How? How can we link claims to grounds? How can we make sure that the grounds, the reasons, the evidence that we provide are really, really relatable, really relevant, really enough, and sufficient for us as the audience to believe in the claim and to support it. Okay. So as far as warrants are concerned, there must be sufficient warrants, because warrants are the links, the joints, المفاصل, that link between the claim and the ground. You provide grounds, you provide facts, you provide testimonies, you provide statistics, but maybe these things are not relevant. So warrant makes sure that these grounds are really relevant, are really supportive of the claim, and they are not off the topic, and they are sufficient, they are not slams, they are not shaky, and so on. You'll find chapter 2 discussing these things in details. Okay. Number 4 is backing. Number 4 is backing, which is how to make sure that the warrant is rational and based on the canon of things. And I'm going to give you an example now, summarizing all these elements, so don't worry. For example, if you say that having or banning high heels in workplaces is a very positive step towards gender equality and banning abusing women and empowering women and this thing. This is a claim, this is a claim. Ground, how can we support this? For example, you can say that statistics say that women who wear high heel suffer from diseases, and wearing high heel is not comfortable, and they really have a very hard time working with high heels. And also can refer to statistics that a questionnaire استبيان was administered among women, asking them whether they are happy with the idea of wearing high heels in workplaces or not. And the results obtained show that women do not like that. The majority of women do not like that, and they want to wear comfy shoes during work and so on. This is what we call ground. Warrant here. You have to make sure that the speaker has provided enough evidence. For example, we should have provided expert testimony. We should have provided more data about the number of people who say yes and say no to this debatable topic and so on. This is a warrant to make sure that things are okay, things are relevant, the claim and the reasons provided or the evidence provided are relatable, are connected, are giant, and so on. Number 4 is backing. And backing, as I told you, is that we draw on our experience, our life experience, how things go, how what is the nature of of things, and out of our experience and out of our history and out of the rules and laws of nature and laws of work and laws of things, we can deduce that what is being provided is really, or the warrant is really backed, is really supported. We have every reason to trust it. Okay. Number 4 is modal qualifiers. This is the degree of certainty. To what extent you are certain that the warrant you provided is reliable, is verifiable, is okay. For how certain are you? Are you fully certain? Are you not fully certain? And so on. So here you will find this in using modal qualifiers such as certainly, definitely, usually, probably, possibly, and so on. Okay. The final element is rebuttals, and we can say that this is counterpoint of view. We cannot keep on talking all the time and thinking that we are the owners of truth and what we say should be believed in, should be reliable. This is something which is not okay, because life is not mono or unilateral. You cannot live with unilateral ideas, unilateral points of view. We want multiplicity of points of view, because this enriches our life and opens our minds and sharpens our thinking. And maybe after arguing with people and looking at the counterpoint of view, we change our mind and we feel that our argument is not strong enough, and we subside to the other point of view. So in this case, I'm the winner. So it's a win-win situation, because we do not argue in order to fight. We do not argue in order to force people to believe in what I believe. We do not argue in order to dictate ideas on people. We argue because we want to know what is true and what is good and what is verifiable and what's rational. We must be very supportive of not our views, because this is selfishness, and this is it's not something that is relatable to open-mindedness. We must be very open-minded and very flexible and very open to other points of view, because our target is not to beat and defeat people. No, our target is to know what's best for us. What are the best views? What are the most rational views to believe in, and so on. So if these views are not mine, it's okay. No problem. And the good views are someone else, okay? Because I'm seeking good. I'm seeking rationality. I'm seeking validity of ideas. I'm seeking what is good for me and for people, and so on. So these number 6, rebuttals. Referring to counter evidence, points of view, which I must take into consideration. Suppose that you are talking about, let's say, asking people to donate for a particular a hospital, or to do charity, and so on. And some people would say counter points of view would say, no, this is not our work. This is the state's work. Government must fund these institutions, and so on. This is a counterpoint of view. You must take it into consideration. And when you argue and you want to convince people, try to take these points of view, counterpoint of view, into consideration. And you can put it in a separate paragraph. You can say, for example, some people may believe that doing charity is not important, and government must do its responsibility and burden its responsibility in funding and establishing these healthcare institutions, and so on. But I feel, this is your point of view, but I feel that unless there is cooperation between government and civil society, things will not be done the best way. And in all communities and societies and charity coming from individuals and institutions, civil institutions, social institutions, it's a key part of public work, because governments alone cannot do everything, and there must be that cooperation, that coordination. So these are the main elements of argument. Okay, let me give you an example, just to make things easier for you. This is, this is an example. Okay, Mary is the best candidate for chairperson or for chairmanship. The best candidate. This is a claim. Okay, and this is a claim. This is a claim. Mary is the best candidate for chairmanship. Okay, and we need grounds. Why do you think? Why do you think that Mary is the best? Number one, she is qualified. Number two, she's, let's say, she has a long experience. Number three, she's creative. Okay, and number four, she has done so and so and so. And you can talk about her achievements, her record in the job, her history, her personality traits, her credentials in general, her credentials. ايه المسوغات اللي تخليك تؤمن بان هي she is the best candidate for chairmanship. This is what we call grounds. يبقى what's the first element? Claim. Second element? Grounds. Okay. Okay. Number three, warrant. This is warrant. Number three, warrant. Credentials. Here I must check these facts. Is she really creative? Is she really qualified? Does she deserve to be the best candidate? I look at her history, I look at her archive, her records, her CV, recommendation letters. I check for all these things to make sure that what is provided as grounds are really believable and could be reliable. So this is warrant. So warrant, it means in Arabic الضامن. And you say that this is good for so and so and so. How can we make sure that what you say is okay and relevant? And no, how? We have to check this for ourselves. We have to, or the writer or the speaker must provide extra evidence for that. Okay, and in the case of Mary, you can say that because she is qualified, because she has long experience, because she's creative, الورنت هيتقال بالشكل ده, because of so and so and so and so. Okay, then Mary is the best. So how can you formulate a warrant? Okay, because of so and so and so, then. Okay, and also make sure that these so's are reliable, are verifiable, are check these facts and these credentials and so on. Okay, and then we have backing. How can I back my warrant? How can I back my argument or my claim that Mary is the best candidate? Okay, how can I back my warrant that she's really the best candidate and we have to choose her? Backing, we can say that given the fact that a good candidate, this is the nature of things, and that coming from our experience in life. If you have someone who has these credentials, and you find that people who have these credentials, once they got the job, they make wonderful achievements, and they make success, and they take the institution they are chairing to the next level. So why not? Why not taking her as or considering her as the best candidate? So backing here, it's drawing on, relying on our life experience, examples from the past, that when we apply these rules, On candidates, we find that Mary is the best because when we get good people and qualified people, we make sure that institutions become successful and become more operative than if we choose other candidates. Chapter 3, more focus on claims and grounds. Yeah, chapter 3, more focus on claims and grounds. By the way, chapter 2, we don't have exercise in chapter 2. And we move to chapter 3. It's talking about these points in detail. Talking about these points in detail, okay? So we have the first element is claim again. Yeah. هو الشابتر كله عن claims and grounds. Okay. So a claim. First of all, and on page 31, for example, you will find things or the book is talking about the nature of claim and the ambiguous claim and so on. How can we make sure that the claim we are making is not ambiguous? It's not obscure, it's clear. Because this is the first step. Remember that argumentation is a journey. It's a process. It has some steps. Step 1 leads to step 2, step 2 leads to step 3 and 4 and 5 and so on. So it's at the end we look for a destination. What is this destination? What is this goal? Is to convince people. To convince people. Okay? On page 31, if you look at the page, I hope that you have the books with me, and every now and then we look at it. Claims should be clear. For example, if on page 31 you have the example of John is mad. My brother John is mad. If someone says this sentence, it would be so obscure, so ambiguous, because the word mad has many connotations in our life. What do you mean? The question is here, what do you mean by mad? Is he really mad? He is crazy, he's suffering from mental illness and he has to be referred to mental health center or hospital, something like that. Or he's so angry and so furious when he he goes mad when someone upsets him. How you call him mad? Or, for example, in a low case, if you want to say that this man is mad and he is not qualified to be responsible for being taker or caregiver to a family, is no longer trusted. His mental capacity and his mental abilities do not allow him to do this job, to act as a good parent, to get as a good guardian, and so on. So it depends on what you mean by mad. So when we forward a claim, we must make sure that it is really clear, it's not obscure, in order to take readers and audience to the second step, which is asking for grounds. You say, why do you feel so? Why do you believe that John is mad? How did you know that? Why do you say that? These are questions. Once these questions are asked, this means that the first step and the first stage of making argument, which is providing and making claim, is successful. Because now we move to the second level, the second stage, which is grounds. Provide grounds, reasons, facts, statistics, give numbers, provide expert testimonies. This is your job. as a claimant, as an asserter. Okay, on page 35, you have a first pattern of analysis. Please have a look at the book, have a look at the page. You will find, you know, if you look at this, you know, these are F1, F2, and so on, facts. And then these facts are linked to claim. They make us believe in this claim. You understand? So we have G. Please pay attention to the symbols or letters. C means claim. G means grounds. A means asserter, claimant, الشخص اللي بيقوم بالادعاء أو بيقوم بمقولة، بيطرح مقولة، بيقول يا جماعة أنا فكروا فيها أو أنا عايزكم تؤمنوا بيها. And also we have Q, which is the questioner or the someone who is not saying or criticizing or providing things to make sure that the claim is okay and the reasons are really relevant. Okay, on page 37 we have very interesting sentences, how claim and grounds are related. For example, at the top of the page we have Joe was born in America, and his father was certainly an American, so he should be a United States citizen, all right. Okay, so because of so and so, then therefore, so what comes after so or after therefore, this is a claim, and what comes before that grounds. Because of so and so and so and so, I think so and so, or I think so and so because of so and so. For the following reasons, I believe that, and so on. So it could be, we can start with a claim first and then ground, and you can start the other way around. You can start with ground and then claim. Okay. And you have other examples. Please have a look at this, and you'll find the word so. What comes after so is a claim. What comes before the grounds? Okay. Then we move to page 38, bottom of the page. This is how to support claims. Okay, how to support claims, as I told you before. Well-known facts, let's say common knowledge, historical reports, observations, truisms, things we all agree on that they are true. Because the word true itself is something that is very elastic. What's true for me is not necessarily true for you. What I believe to be true is not something relevant. Truth is something relevant. You understand? Okay, and now let's go to exercise on page. Before exercise, okay. We have something called demand for grounds. I think that I talked about it. Demands for grounds. Okay, when you say, for example, that taking Uber is the best means of transport to go to the airport, for example. This is a claim. Okay, someone would say, why do you say that? How did you know? Okay, you have to provide reasons. Maybe you can say that I tried it several times and they proved to be very reliable, very comfortable, and very punctual. الناس مظبوطين جدا. Maybe you can say that look at the history of the company and how it's operating in many countries in the world, and they are gaining momentum and popularity and so on. So these are reasons. when the questioner asks you to provide reasons, this means that you make a successful claim because he wants to know more and more and more and so on. Okay. And now finally, let me go to the last thing in my lecture today, which is the exercise on page 39. Okay, let me do some examples with you. I leave you to the rest. Please do on your own and send me your answers. I'll check them with you. The question: in the following, the student should, number one, distinguish the claim from the grounds. You have a number of examples. You have to say which part is a claim, which part is the grounds. Number two, identify the question that the arguments are intended to resolve. What does this mean? How grounds are linked to claim. And number three, reformulate the grounds more specifically or precisely where possible. I don't ask you to do this for the time being, because you're still, watching your first steps in argumentation. So I want you to specify here what is claim and what are grounds in each of these. How many? Let me check. In each one of these 20 arguments. 20 arguments. Okay, let's do with you the first one. Anderson is a good neighbor because he maintains his property conscientiously. What's the claim here? Anyone? What's the claim? The claim is the first part, which is Anderson is a good neighbor. This is your point of view. Okay? Anderson is a good neighbor. Okay? And what is grounds? Where can we find grounds? Immediately after because he maintains his property conscientiously. He maintains his property conscientiously. Do you think that this is enough to say that Anderson is a good neighbor? Do you think that this is enough? Lots of things can be mentioned, but look at the text which is provided to you. You work within the text, okay? If you look at number 2, Prince Charles is the next in line to be King of England because he is the eldest male descendant of the reigning monarch. What is the claim here? And is it really a claim? This fact, because the guy here is the eldest male in the monarchy family, and this is right to be the first one to in line to the throne. Okay, number 3, the credentials have a weak pitching staff. The cardinals have a weak pitching staff. Therefore, they will have a slim chance of getting into the playoffs. Okay, what's the claim here? The claim here comes after therefore, and grounds come first. The cardinals have weak pitching staff. Okay, why? What's the claim here is that the cardinal will have a slim chance of getting into the playoffs. ليه? Because the Cardinals they هنا بقى have a weak pitching staff. Okay, so sometimes you start with claim and sometimes you start with the ground. Okay, if you look at number 4, July is a bad month for trout fishing because trout feed on the fry of other fish during that month. Okay, this starts with the claim and followed by giving scientific fact, which is reason, ground, and you move on and so on. Some also we have number 5. Frost in the coffee growing regions of the world short supply in the largest consuming nations, and a desire to flex their economic muscles on the part of the producers will bring about a doubling of the price of coffee in the world market in the next 6 months. Here, the argument starts with grounds and followed by claim. So if you want to reorganize or to rearrange it, you can say that the price of coffee will be doubled in the world in the next 6 months. Price. And then you say, why? Because of so and so and so. You mention the reasons that are put forward at the beginning. Okay? You go to number 6, cheating on exams can sometimes be justified because not all courses are part of a student's major program, nor related to the student's career plans, besides, and so on. Here, this is a claim. People who want to justify cheating would put it طبعا this is not acceptable because cheating is cheating. It's not acceptable under any umbrella and under any circumstances. We cannot accept cheating, but this is how people may argue. Okay, putting forward the claim and then reasons. However, if we look at other examples, you'll find the same. And the questions that could be raised between the claimant or the one who is making these claims and the audience is that, how do you know that? Why did you say that? What do you want to say? What's in your mind? فيبدأ بقى ياخدوا خطوة تانية بعد ما يقول الكلام بتاعه. يبدأ لما يقول له ليه كده بتقول كده مش عارف ايه، تبدأ يدي ground, يدي facts, يدي reasons to go to the next stage and so on. Let's go to take مثلا another example on page 40. Okay, let's take number 11. The notion that health, like nutrition, may be the factor in juvenile delinquency and school failure is significant because it implies a new approach to treatment of these profound social problems. It's easier to improve a person's health and so on and so forth. Putting a claim and then the rest of the passage or the rest of the argument grounds to support this claim. You know, if you look at another example, number 12, despite all the turmoil and intense personality conflicts that kept the Yankees from playing their best until last August, okay, they managed to capture their divisional title with 162 record. Okay. Here we have with healthier pitching staff and so on. Reasons, we bile reasons in order to make people believe in what we say. Okay, let's look at number 14. The boy is trained for his career in many subtle ways. This is a claim. الولد جاهز وتمام. طيب reasons بقى 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Okay, if you look at number 15, page 41. Okay, why didn't the psychological establishment challenge birth research, which argued that heredity was by far the most important factor in determining intelligence and was extremely influential until the evidence was shown to have been rigged? Okay, which was full of inconsistencies and so on. So the writer is saying that people were not able to argue against or refute the argument provided or the finding or the claim provided by someone that heredity الوراثة is the only factor in someone's intelligence and so on. And the writer is saying that because this researcher or this scientist was so powerful at the time, many people were not did not have the courage to refute his finding and to argue against them and so on, giving reasons why he was not questionable, why this man's argument was acceptable for so many years although it has proven faulty. The reason is that he was very powerful at the time and no one wouldn't dare to challenge they're challenging him. Okay. Okay. The rest, for example, the number 17, the finance committee, هي لجنة المالية, would give parents a tax credit of half the tuition they pay up to $1,000. Okay, the tax credit is the same thing as cash grant. The subsidy is اللي هو الدعم ده is big enough to start a rapid growth of every kind of private school and so on. The administration opposes the whole idea and so on. Here, I don't think that it's a problem to identify the claim here from the giving, as you see, the writer is giving reasons, is giving statistics, numbers, and so on in order to provide solid reasoning for his claim. And so on. If you go on, so what I want you to do in these three chapters, have a look at these elements. What do we mean by argument? Difference between argumentative uses of language versus instrumental uses of language. Also, what are the different elements of arguments? Where can we find arguments in our life and elsewhere? Different elements of arguments, parts, people involved in arguments, and also to identify, which is a very important thing in chapter 3, to identify or to distinguish between the first two important elements in any argument: claim, to distinguish claim from grounds. Please do. It's not a very difficult task. It's a very, very, very easy. And you'll find in your life lots of arguments we do every day with our colleagues, with our family, with people whom we meet everywhere in our life. We make arguments in order to convince people, because to convince people or to persuade people is part of your competence as a human being, to connect to people and to build bridges to them. How can we build bridges to them? By being convinced by their points of view, if they are sound and solid and so on, or to convince them of our points of view and our claims if our points of view are solid, sound, and not shaky, and enough, and they are enough and sufficient, and they are really reliable and rational. Okay? I hope that this is okay for you. Inshallah, we're gonna meet next time. I'm gonna assign a date, set a date for that. Until then, please do the following. Review the first three chapters along with the exercises of chapter 1, chapter 3, and prepare chapter 4 and chapter 5. We're going to continue with the elements, warrants, the links, the joints, المفاصل اللي زي ديت نقدر نجمعها كده ونربطها مع بعضيها to make a solid argument. هنكملهم إن شاء الله next time. Until then, I want you to try your hand with everything related to argument. I'm gonna give you 2 topics now. I'm gonna write, and after finishing, gonna write to you a number of topics to make arguments and to start writing claims and writing grounds. Also, try your hand with warrant and the rest of the elements. Remember that this is the first element, the first part of the book, and we want to finish it as soon as possible to move on to the second part. Hope that this meeting, which is very new for me, is okay and was okay, and I'm very happy to have you, and I'm looking forward to see you face to face, to meet you face to face, to continue our discussion, and to fulfill our aims and our goals as people who are partners in the process of learning, which is a lifetime process. It's something that we should be very, very eager to do and to pursue learning everywhere and at any time and by all means. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم.